It's time for the one and the only show. It's the Luke Howard Show Live. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Morning, everybody. Morning. Hope you're all well, and I hope you're all looking forward to a brand new week of the one and the only show, the Luke Howard Show. Got lots of stuff to discuss today because I saw on the news on Friday with that brief conference with Boris Johnson, and we're going to speak a lot about that in a moment or two. I've got lots of things to cover about that because we're talking about 20% off. I think it's something like £10 off a meal or something. So we'll talk about dinners and food in a moment. We're also going to be talking about a 90-minute. Listen to this. Right, this is a 90-minute. It's a 90-minute flu. I think it's a 90-minute coronavirus test. I think it takes something like 90 minutes. I think for the test, sort of like to do the test for COVID-19. So we're going to talk about that in a moment. It's just turned 10 o'clock, by the way. 10:02 is the time. I hope you're okay. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But first, I hope everyone's well, and I hope you've all had a wonderful weekend. Well, of course, I'm here all this week, of course, and then next week I'm here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then after that I'm off on my holidays. Holidays. It doesn't really feel like a holiday, to be honest with you, because I've been off for months and months. But yeah, that is how long we've got until about, I think it's a week and a half. I think 11 days. 11 days off, and then I'm back on the 24th of August, around about then. So, that is the plan, by the way. That is the plan, and we'll keep you updated over the week and into next week about that. So sit back and relax, make yourselves a cup of tea, and enjoy Britain's best radio show. Woo! Let's just do my clap. Woo! Okay, so let's start off then by kicking off by talking about what's breaking in the news in the last couple of hours, okay? Because we have to talk about that, what's been breaking over the last couple of hours. So we're going to start by talking about a 90-minute test that can actually detect coronavirus and flu, which will be rolled out in care homes, and I think this is up for stories from next week as well. So the on-the-spot swab and DNA test will help identify between. This is the first time I've actually seen someone take a test for it. I've got a picture right in front of me now of someone taking this test, and I've never seen how it all works. I think what they do is they just get out like a cotton bud and just stick it around your mouth. I think that's the thing that they must do. But it does swab and DNA test, and it will help. Okay, it will help distinguish between this disease and other seasonal illnesses. The government has also said, the health secretary has said actually, that this would be hugely beneficial over the winter. Now, currently, 3/4 of the test results are returned. This is within 24 hours and a quarter, and it can take up to 2 days. The announcement comes as this government has pushed back a July target to regular test care home staff and residents, would you believe, saying the number of testing kits, and this has actually become more limited. It's become more limited, okay, over these weeks. Now, almost 500,000 of this new rapid swab test called, this is LamPOR. This will be available from, I would believe, next week. Not this week, okay? Not this week, next week. And it's adult care settings and laboratories, with million more due to be rolled out later in the year. I must say, later on in the show, we're going to be talking about my local people. We're going to be mentioning the meat plate in Buntingford by my boss, and of course we've got a special mention for the Delissimo Cafe right here in Buntingford. So we'll do the mention later on in the show. We'll talk about that later on in the show. Now, okay, this is because around 5,000 machines is going to provide 5.8 million tests in the coming months. The Department for Health has said there is currently no publicly available data. This is on the accuracy of the new test, but this is Sir John Bell. He's the Radius Professor and Medicine. And this is at Oxford University, and it has been advertising the government, and this is on tests as well. And so the product is the same, and separately, this is at the current lab-based tests. They'll Secretary Matt Hancock, the name that we mention on the show every single day, he's very famous, this person. He gets mentioned on our show every single day. He described that these latest innovations in this COVID-19 is testing as life-saving, okay? He added that millions of new rapid coronavirus tests will provide on-the-spot results, and this is under 90 minutes. And I can't believe it takes that long just to test somebody for COVID-19. I didn't know it was that long. I'm really shocked. Okay, I'm really, really shocked at looking at this. 90 minutes just for a test. That's quite a long time, don't you think? I mean, I think it is, but I'm sure you do as well. Do you think it's a long time? I think it does, because it does break chains of transmission quickly, and the facts that these tests can detect flu as well as what's going on at the moment, they will be hugely beneficial as they head into winter, so patients can follow the right advice to protect themselves and others. Now, we are going to talk about Boris Johnson's briefing on Friday, because he said that places such as bowling alleys, casinos, amusements, and fairgrounds, I think all them sort of stuff that where you come to close contact, because you know when you come to close contact things like casinos, bowling alleys, well, he's saying that none of it's going to be reopening up to the 15th of August, which I would believe is not until Saturday the 15th of August. Now that's quite a good day though, isn't it, to open it back up again. But the 15th of August is going to be at least, because it was meant to be the 1st. I mean, bowling alleys and all of that were getting ready to reopen on Saturday just gone. But unfortunately, they couldn't do it. They just couldn't do it because it's, I don't know why, they just couldn't do it. So it's now, apparently it was the last hour that Matt Hancock put on social media that is not going to be happening tomorrow. It's going to be happening on the 15th of August. And, okay, Boris, let's mention what he said the other day. It is hands, face, space. Hands, face, space. Hands, face, space. Wherever you go, all you got to remember is that phrase, catchphrase, the new catchphrase is hands, face, space. Okay? Hands, face, space. It's all you got to remember. Basically, wash your hands, cover your face, and give them some space. There you go. You got to wash your hands, cover your face, and give them some space. That rhymes, doesn't it? Wash your hands, cover your face, give them some space. I made that up myself, but Boris made up hands, face, space. I made up wash your hands, cover your face, and give them some space. I made that up, okay? I just made that up randomly. It's quite good for me. But I didn't really make it up, did I? Because, of course, Boris Johnson made it up himself. So very good for Boris for coming up with that hands, face, space. I love it. It's very good to make people go for it. And I think it's very good. And it's very keen, not keen. It's very, very Sergeant Major telling people to do it, He knows what he's talking about, Boris. He's very good. But it takes him some time. It takes Boris some time, okay? It takes him some time to come up with what he's going to say, but he does come up with it, and he does say what he's going to say. Now, Dame Ann Johnson, she's a professor of infectious disease and epidemiology. This is at University College in London. She told a news programme that the new tests were great news, but this was actually part of a wider system which needed to act rapidly overall. Now, rapid diagnosis was actually useful, but the most important thing was actually for people to self-isolate if they felt ill. But of course, they also lifted up. What they also did was, I like this because for the next 2 weeks, what he's also done is Boris has also he's also letting people who are shielding, like old people, anyone who's shielding at this very moment right now. What he's done is he's lifted it. He's lifted it for 2 weeks. So he's let people go out. He's let people go out into the fresh air for 2 weeks. Then after that 2 weeks is up, what's going to happen next? Well, they'll go back in their houses and carry on with their shielding. That is the plan, people. That is the plan after these 2 weeks. But, okay, so Sir Paul, which is the nurse director of France's CRIC, the Institute and the number of scientists for Labour, he said the government needed to treat the public as adults in COVID-19 communications. He said, we need openness, transparency, scrutiny, and a leadership of people taking a responsibility by the decision that was making. Okay, so the testing news has just come in this very, very moment, okay? Now, authorities in Greater Manchester, which is not around here, it's up north, have insisted people that they should not be alarmed by a decision to declare a major incident on Sunday evening last night in response to rising rates of COVID-19 there. I mean, this was only last night they mentioned this, but Scotland's National Clinical Director, this is the warned of going backwards over, this is easing lockdown, this is after a cluster, okay? And this is of COVID-19 cases that were linked to a pub in Aberdeen, which is up in Scotland. Leicester, the first UK city to have a localised lockdown, will see pubs and restaurants reopening from, I think, today or next Monday, is it? Or is it Wednesday? We're not sure what day it is, but we'll have to find out as a number of restrictions are of course, lifted. Now, a government scheme is to encourage people to visit restaurants, cafes and pubs across the UK. And we're going to talk about this in a moment because they're going to be giving customers of 72,000 establishments 50% off meals that are brought from today to Wednesday in August. So we'll talk about that in a moment because I've got lots to talk about that. Coronavirus tests are currently carried out at drive-through or walk-in sites, as well as hospitals for patients. And also some NHS workers as well. Home testing kits can also be delivered to someone's door so that people can test themselves. They can also swab samples that are analysed at a laboratory before the result is passed on to the individual. Now, unlike other seasonal illnesses, those infected with COVID-19 are required to self-isolation for 10 days now. 10 days. So if you're listening right now and you've got COVID-19 symptoms, you have to self-isolate for 10 days, okay? You've just taken it off me, okay? If you are a listener and you are listening to the show right now, please do self-isolate for 10 days. Don't just ignore it and you got it. Just self-isolate for 10 days. Please do. And it protects everyone else. So just do it for 10 days. Regular testing of care home residents and staff was meant to have started on the 6th of July, which was, I would believe, about a month ago on Thursday. So a month ago on this Thursday was when home residents and staff were meant to have started on the 6th of July. But officials said this might not be in place until the end of the first week of September. A spokeswoman for the Department of Health has said a combination, this is of factors that have meant that the more limited number of testing kits, pendulum used in care homes are currently available. This is for antimorphic retesting, and they are working around the clock with providers to restore capacity. Now, last month, the government withdrew one brand of home testing kits that was used in care homes. This was actually over safety concerns. Now, meanwhile, researchers are urgently appealing for recovered patients to donate their blood plasma as part of a major trial. This is looking at how effective transfusing blood plasma and to patients struggling to develop their own immune response to COVID-19 could actually be. That the further 8 deaths were also reported in the UK on Sunday just gone, taking the total number now of people who have died with testing positive for the virus to, can I say it? It's gone to 46,021. Am I right? No, 46,201 people have died at this very moment of COVID-19. I could be wrong, but it does say on my script that 46,201 people have actually died. I mean, I could be right, I could be wrong, I don't know. I mean, people could be dying of it right this very minute right now. So it does say that is how many people have actually died of it right this very moment. However, figures have also tended to be lower at the weekend due to reporting delays. The latest government statistics were showed 744 new cases that have been actually confirmed in the last 24 hours at 9 a.m. on Sunday. Right, okay. Let's move on to one more story then. And just remember, okay? Just remember, whatever is happening, however it's going to end, we will get through this. Okay, we will get through it. And I should have said this at the end of my next story, because I'm going to be talking about meals now. I mean, I went to a restaurant yesterday, okay? Let me say, because I went to a restaurant yesterday, and no one at that restaurant was wearing masks at all. No one at all. I went to a restaurant yesterday, and I couldn't believe it. They weren't wearing masks at all. I was really surprised, and it was our local pub. It was only our local pub, because we went out for pub grub yesterday afternoon, and I went there, and they weren't wearing masks. I couldn't believe it. No one was wearing masks. I mean, I saw a father, a dad was there with his 2 little children. I think they were under 5, and they were all wearing masks. But the staff at the pub were not wearing masks at all. And I was really surprised, okay? I was really surprised to see it. I was really annoyed, okay? I was really annoyed. I went to a pub. It was really nice food. The food is delicious in this place. The Fox in Aspenden. Love him to bits. Absolutely love him. He's a lovely fellow who runs it. Morning to everyone at the Fox in Aspenden. You had me there yesterday for a Sunday lunch. I had roast beef. And it was actually absolutely delicious. The staff are lovely and friendly. But they weren't wearing masks. And I was really, really surprised. They weren't wearing them at all. I mean, for a pub that was packed with